break it down for us, financial planner and founder of Dynamic Money, Chris Burns. Chris, people are getting less money back. Why? Wasn't tax reform supposed to provide tax relief?
Yeah, well, first of all, let's just admit it's terrible. When you think you're going to get all this money back, you already have plans for it, right? So folks already knew they're going to put a down payment on a house, they're going to pay off that debt. So this is really hard for a lot of people. But to understand why it happened, you have to actually walk back last year this time. And remember, at that point, Treasury was running around trying to figure out how in the world do we implement this 1,000+ tax change that's just been passed by Congress. And one of the big pieces of that was changing the whole withholding system, okay? So back last February, a lot of people, most Americans, saw some sort of little bump to their payroll. And for a lot of people, it was so small, it was almost laughable. If you made $70,000 a year, your average increase was about $40 a paycheck. And for most folks, that was kind of throwaway money. They said, they didn't even really notice it, right?
Maybe but if you take $40, an extra dinner out.
I'm sorry, what? Oh yeah, exactly. It's an extra dinner out, it's an at the movies, whatever it is. Yeah. But if you take that over the course of a year, well, that's $1,000, right? And so the hard reality of this, and this is not easy, is that most people, even though it feels like they've made less money because that tax return is 8% or the refund's 8% lower, well, they might have actually made more money over the course of the year, but it was so spread out they don't notice it. And then when they get a few $100s less on the refund, it feels like a punch in the gut.
Okay, so that really does explain a lot. It doesn't necessarily mean people aren't taking home more money, but if somebody is getting this and, as you point out, has already spent the money they thought they were going to get in their refund because they didn't make the calculations, adjustments in their own head or, you know, in their own planning, what should they do now to adjust moving forward?
Okay, so this is the tough question, and a lot of people won't like my answer here, I'll tell you in advance. One thing you can do is you could go and you could change your withholding again and give the IRS more of your money, and next year you'll get that refund again. So if you miss that refund and you go, that was what I was banking on, you could easily go change that and get the refund again. But we have to go back to this idea of what is a tax refund. And I think a lot of us treat it, I mean, over 70% of Americans get a refund. Like you said, the average is over $2,000 a person. So something so many people are banking on, but what is it? Well, imagine this for a minute. If you were to go to the grocery store, just say to buy milk, and then you paid $10 extra. I don't know why, they just overcharged you. And every time you went, all year, you paid an extra $10. Then at the end of the year, they came back to you and said, hey, we are so sorry, you overpaid us $1,500 for milk. We're gonna send you a check. Would your response be, this is amazing. This is the absolute best thing ever, right? Or would you go, why in the world did I overpay you all year? Well, we're just so used to giving the IRS extra money that's not theirs, and then what do they do with it? Well, I don't earn interest on it. I don't have access to it. They just sit on it. And let me tell you, the IRS is good at a lot of things. They're not a good babysitter, but they're babysitting your money when you do that.
All right, so maybe it's a good reason why not having such a big tax refund at the end of the day isn't so bad. Chris Burns, thank you for the tax insight tonight. I appreciate it.
Hey, thank you so much.
Coming up, taking a back seat, Prince Philip.